the only people I tend to have ever seen drinking a lager top is massive blokes, right? Massive blokes. And I've got a theory about this. I think it's probably because they're the only type of person that someone's not gone, the fuck are you drinking that for? Just have a lager. Well, I'm glad you weren't having a pop at the old people there, Baz, as you went into a tirade about old people. Yeah, the two worst things about London: knife crime and craft beer. Hello, and welcome to the Lock-In Podcast. My name's Mike, and this is Baz. Say hello, Baz.
Hello, Baz.
Hey! If you haven't listened to us before, or you haven't seen us before, Baz and I do the Lock-In Podcast from our virtual pub, the Brace of Reelings. Quite often we've got a guest where we'll just have a drink and have a chat to whoever's turned up at our table in our virtual pub. Tonight, we don't have a guest. Tonight, it's just me and Baz. I was going to say flying solo, but that doesn't work when there's two of you, does it? I don't know what the equivalent phrase is.
In fairness, we probably need a bit of a rest from people's stories, because there's been some amazing things recently.
We've had some incredible stories. After you finish listening or watching to this one, go back and look at the other ones and check out some of the amazing guests we've had. But yeah, we needed a break. We needed just a chill out, just me and Baz chatting shit for half an hour or so. So that's what you've got tonight, or today, or this morning if you're listening to us on the train. I need to get used to the fact that this isn't live anymore and stop saying tonight.
If it's July, just remember it was dark when we were doing this.
Exactly. If it is July, God, you've got loads to catch up on. So, Baz, what have you been up to this week, pal?
Well, I've been busy this week with work, but I've also been, I don't know if I mentioned before, but I've been doing a bit of work with a candle company, which I know seems weird, but they're a local company, and it's part owned by the daughter of my sort of first boss. So Right. She contacted me in the first place and said, "Oh, would you mind doing a promoted post?" I said, "Oh, yeah, brilliant." Mainly because they're a small local company that set up during lockdown, and I was connected with my old boss.
And you're now an internet celebrity.
Well, they obviously went for the big number, didn't they? And they went, "Oh yeah, can you put some stuff up for us?" And I was like quite happy to do it, but it's kind of escalated from there in the fact that they've asked me to get involved making my own candle for them, which is
I love this, Baz. This is the Baz Wright version of Kim Kardashian bringing out her own perfume.
Well, it's kind of strange as well, because so they said, "Oh, do you want to come over and do you want to make some?" And I was like, "Okay, I've never made a candle before." Because I don't know if you when you were a kid, you had the one where you actually dip the wick in candle in wax. I think we all did that when we were kids. But so the way they do it is
I did lots of dipping my wick as a younger man. That's a lie. I did very little of it, frustrated as I was back then.
So they said, "Do you want to come over and make your own candles?" And I was like, "Okay." So I went over there this week and I made candles, and then they said, "Oh, do you want to sign them as well?" And I was thinking to myself, this is all getting very kind of bizarre. So yeah, this week I've been making candles and signing them, and they're going to go on sale fairly shortly.
Tell us more about this, because I happen to know, Baz. There is they're scented, aren't there? There's a scent of Baz. Talk us through that.
Well, fortunately, not the scent of me, because no one's going to buy that. But so yeah, one of them is a rum scented candle, obviously for things I like, and the other one is a Baccy flavor scented one, and they're both really nice.
See, Baz, you've just said that it's not the scent of Baz, and then you've just said it smells of tobacco and rum, which is exactly what you do smell of, Baz.
Yeah, but it's more the fact that I didn't really want to have my kind of personal smell imbibed into a candle, because I don't think anyone would want that. Although
absolutely not. I mean, it's
stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I'm glad they went with tobacco and rum, and not your vest having worked all day at Windsor Horse Show and arse as the two flavours.
Imagine that. The first one's BO and the second one's bum crack.
Yes, poo grease.
This went in a very different direction than I was thinking.
Hey, Baz, you did well to leave me out of negotiations on this one. Otherwise, we'd shortly be having a giveaway for a signed Baz Wright poo grease candle. So you did very well.
What have you been up to?
Well, it was my son's birthday recently, and I said for his birthday I would take him. He was desperate to go and see a Newcastle United game. Never been. Loves Newcastle. Never been to the games, obviously, because we live in Ireland. It's very difficult. But I took him over, and we went all prawn sandwich on it, which was nice. And yeah, the game was brilliant. They won 3-1 against Everton, and Kieran Trippier scored the winner. He's from the same village as us, so the two of us literally. I always bollock people for misusing the word literally, and I nearly said literally lost our shit. We didn't literally lose our shit. There was no evacuation of bowels involved. We were just very, very excited that Kieran Trippier, the Berry Beckham, scored the winner for Newcastle. So it was an incredible night. We both lost our voices. But yeah, there is my personal highlight, Baz. I've got a couple of things that I overheard on the plane back. And I've written them down so I didn't forget. The first one, and I'm pretty sure you would only ever hear this sentence on a flight from Newcastle, okay? The first sentence was a lady, and I use that phrase in its loosest term, who, on her way back from the lavatory, said to her fella, "Sorry I took so long. A fella asked me if he could jump in front of me because he was touching cloth." Is exactly what she said at full volume on a flight. And I was like, well, there you go. That's Geordie's for you. And then the second phrase that this lady said, which just made me howl. Bearing in mind, this flight, right, is from Newcastle to Belfast. Right, it's about 35 minutes. I mean, they might as well put a fucking ramp at the end of Newcastle runway. Do you know what I mean? And not turn the engines on. It's such a short flight. Anyway, when the booze thing comes past, right, the trolley comes past. This Geordie woman says, "Do you have any rhubarb and ginger gin?" Rhubarb and ginger gin. They've got fucking Gordons in a thimble. Oh, that's what you get on a. It's EasyJet. Do you know what? She thinks she's on fucking Emirates upper class or something. Do you know what I mean?
She's trying to get her bed to lie down while she could have it as well.
You've got rhubarb and ginger gin.
I mean, I know it's an actual thing that exists, but yeah, like you say.
Of course it's a thing that exists. So's lobster thermidor, but you wouldn't ask for it on an EasyJet flight, would you?
Yeah, because you'll get they got toasted cheese sandwiches.
Exactly. Anyway, this lady was called Sarah, and her fellow was called Dean. It was Sarah's 30th birthday a few days after the flight. Now, Sarah works shifts, and as soon as she gets home, she likes to get in her pajamas and go straight to bed. She prefers drinking in the house than going out. She particularly loves drinking in the kitchen. She snores. But, you know, when she does go out, she doesn't go out for a meal very often because when she goes out, she either eats or drinks. She can't do both, right? She'd rather have a full skimful and have a kebab at the end of the night. Now, anyway, Sarah and Dean are going to Bali in September, and she's not looking forward to it because she gets really restless on planes. And on the day of her actual birthday, she's going to have a Prosecco breakfast on Friday for her birthday because she deserves it. Now, you may think that I know quite a lot about Sarah and Dean, and you may think that maybe I sat next to her and chatted to her. No, she was 2 rows behind me, but didn't fucking shut up for 35 minutes of the flight. And that's all I heard was this woman with all of this stuff.
So I kind of knew that was coming, but that's an awful lot of information to get from one person in 35 minutes.
It is, isn't it? I swear to God, that woman can breathe through her ears. She must have done because she didn't stop talking long enough to breathe.
I feel sorry for Dean.
Oh, Dean was as bad, to be fair, because some of that information came from Dean.
Was this a conversation between the two of them about things that she was doing?
It was the two of them talking to the third person on their row.
Who was that poor person?
Well, to be honest, I got quite a lot of information about her out of that one as well. Anyway, I need to come back. So, clearly, EasyJet didn't have any rhubarb and ginger gin. She was lucky they had any gin. Do you know what I mean? This is 8:45 a.m. I hasten to add, 8:45 a.m. on a 35-minute flight from Newcastle to
what day of the week? Sorry,
to Belfast on a Wednesday morning. 8:35 on a Wednesday morning. She's asking for rhubarb and ginger gin on an EasyJet flight. Anyway, she decided to go for Prosecco in the end. And you know what I said in that in my recital of everything that I heard from her? She's going to have a Prosecco breakfast on Friday for her birthday because she deserves it. I'm not being funny, Sarah, but you're only a bacon butty away from having a Prosecco breakfast on fucking EasyJet. You've got the Prosecco bit. You know what I mean?
It's a bizarre thing that people like are unaware of their surroundings when they talk really loudly and literally tell you every detail of their life. And also, like, so Dean and Sarah, if you are listening to this, we'd love to have you on as a guest.
Absolutely. If someone could track down Sarah and Dean, I've given you all that information. Go back and listen to it. If anybody knows Sarah and Dean, who happened to be on a flight from Newcastle to Belfast for Sarah's 30th birthday, the day after Newcastle beat Everton 3-1. So that's date stamped it and time stamped it. It was an 8:35 flight. If anybody out there knows who Sarah and Dean are, get in touch and we'll get them on the show. Absolutely. I want to know more. I want to know how the weekend went.
Yeah, that's amazing because, like, you'd expect to hear something like that on maybe a 2-hour flight, but to get it all in 35 minutes is an absolute avalanche of information, isn't it?
Sarah definitely did 2 hours worth of talking in 35 minutes. I'm not going to lie. Don't forget that a chunk of that she was behind someone touching cloth in the toilet queue as well. So it's probably only about 20 minutes she was speaking for.
Well, the reason he was probably touching cloth is because she was probably telling him her life history.
That's it. Do you know what? She was probably giving it all that in the queue for the toilet. And he's gone, do you mind if I go in front of you? And he thought it would be less embarrassing to suggest he was touching cloth than to say he was bored shitless by her conversation. So I reckon that's what it was. Right. So, Baz, let's get to the main topic of this week's podcast. We're going to pull together a list of people who the Lock-In podcast officially would like to slap.
Slap number 1.
Anyone who drinks a lager top. Anyone. Right? But I tell you what, I don't know why, but the only people I tend to have ever seen drinking a lager top is massive blokes. Right? Massive blokes. And I've got a theory about this. I think it's probably because they're the only type of person that someone's not gone, the fuck are you drinking that for? Just have a lager. Do you know what I mean? Because they're massive. They can get away with it. Because I've never seen a normal, proportioned human being drinking a lager top. I'd have more respect if you just went the whole hog and went, fuck it, I'll have a shandy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Pretend you're driving if you want to, but do you know what I mean? So a lager top.
My only defence of this is because, in fairness, and when I first started drinking, I used to always order a lager top for 2 reasons. Mainly because it sounded more interesting. I was a kid at the time, in my early teens. And not early teens, in my late teens.
Early teens, Baz? Jesus. You down the gin shop in Victorian times, because you are aged.
Well, I kind of go, so I was drinking since 15, 16 in pubs, because you could do it back in the day, because people didn't ID you. They just went, he looks a bit young, but he's a customer. Anyway, I think the reason why it's changed a bit is because lagers have got better, if I'm being deadly honest. Because lagers, when I was a child, were literally only 2 things, Foster's or Carlsberg. Even before, the exotic Stella Artois, it used to be Foster's and it used to be Carlsberg. And I remember not liking them, so I used to make them a bit fruitier.
If you don't like the taste of beer, it's fine. I
Yes.
don't have a problem with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't drink beer. Don't just put an inch of lemonade in the top of it to make it not taste like beer.
How are you on lime, though? Is lime a different thing altogether? Is that just adding to it?
Limes. Do you know what? Surprisingly, lime or blackcurrant is better in my eyes than a top.
I agree.
Because at least you're being open.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You change the colour of it.
Yeah.
You're proud that you don't like the taste of lager, so you're going to change the taste of lager. You're not just trying to shoehorn a bit of hey, go on, slip a bit of lemonade in it and hopefully no one will notice.
water it down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this 4% Foster's is a bit fucking strong for me, and it tastes like a grown-up's drink. Could you put an inch of lemonade in the top of it for me? No, I'm not having it. I'll tell you what, though. If I ran a bar, I would put in the training manual, if anybody suggests, can I have a lager top? The only response my staff would be allowed to respond with is, you can, but the top is also going to be made of lager. Like I say, it's only massive blokes who order it, because everybody else who has ever ordered a lager top in a bar, someone's gone, what the fuck are you drinking that for? Just have a lager. Do you know what I mean? But massive blokes, everyone's too scared to say it to them, so they've not had the experience of someone stand up to them and go, the fuck are you drinking that for? Just have a lager. Do you know what I mean?
Well, bizarrely, I know people that have had bitter tops, not even bitter shandy, bitter tops.
Bitter tops.
Yeah.
Dear God. Do you know what? If somebody goes into a pub and asks for a bitter top, they should sign a special kind of register. Not the one that the nonces sign, a different one.
Yeah.
Right? It's not quite as bad, but close. The authorities should be aware that these people walk among us.
Slap number 2.
People who aren't ready to pay for their shopping or food when they get to the till or when they've loaded their bag.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? It's infuriating. It's like they've loaded the bag and then they wait to be asked to pay, because like they've never done it before. That's not the next bit that happens every time.
It's like a surprise, isn't it?
Every time.
That's £52.63. Oh, I'll ferret in my handbag for me purse because I didn't know you were going to ask me for money.
I just find it massively infuriating when people go, "Oh yeah." Then of course, and I'm not having a go at the elderly here, but I'm going to say they are the main culprit of these things.
I'm not having a go at the elderly, but it's them.
And it's generally somebody gets there and goes, "Oh, which one shall I use?" Oh, they then start tapping when they realise it's £5,000, so they can't do it contactless. Then they don't know that they've got to put it in the slot, and then they've got that 4-digit number, which they have to then think about for 20 minutes because they haven't used it since the last time they came shopping. Drives me fucking insane.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you weren't having a pop at the old people there, Baz, as you went into a tirade about old people. But do you know what? I'm going to add a little bit on. There's also,
Good.
in that situation, I think sometimes even worse is once they have finally paid, is standing in the way while they piss about putting their card into the purse and then the purse into the bag and then the bag into the trolley and then it's like,
yes,
just move your look. With all this social distancing and stuff, I can't start until you've got out the fucking way. Do you know what I mean? Push things over there and do it over there. Do you know what I mean? I find myself, I like to think I'm a relatively laid back guy, but I do find myself in situations like that, going from standing behind me and going, oh, bless her. Oh, and she, she's struggling. I'll give her a hand if she needs any help putting her shopping away and all that kind of stuff, to literally get out the fucking way, you stupid old woman. And it's just like, it's from naught to that in, it doesn't take much. It's like 10 seconds.
Slap number 3.
People who clap when a plane lands.
Oh, that's a classic, isn't it? I love that.
Fucking, what is going on with that? And I mean, I'm not being funny. I kind of get it, right? I kind of get it because it's like, oh, thank God we're down. But do you know what I mean? It's just, honestly, it's like fucking reverse parking for the pilot. He does it he or she does it all day, every day. Do you know what I mean? So I'll only accept you clapping when a plane lands if you also clap when other people do the jobs. Do you know what I mean? So if when the taxi driver pulls up outside your house, if you give him a little bit of a round of applause, fair dues, all right? Yeah. Then I accept you clapping the plane landing. Well, when your hairdresser's finished cutting your hair, if you give him a little round of applause, I'm all right with you clapping when the plane lands. Otherwise, it's fucking stupid because effectively you're just going, oh, you've done something I couldn't do. But again, do you know what I mean? Someone finishes putting your fucking extension on your house. Do you know what I mean? Oh, there we go. Well done. I couldn't have done that. It just doesn't make any sense. Look, Baz, right? Here we go.
Yeah, go on.
You know, if the pilot and the co-pilot collapse and they say, can someone fly the plane? And I'm sat next to you. If you stand up and go and land that plane, I'll give you a fucking standing ovation, right? But not someone who is, do you know what I mean? Not someone who's literally parking a plane. That's all they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Can I just wedge a little story in here about stuff, when they're asking stuff like that. So once again, on this trip back from Lapland, this displayed how middle class this flight was. So there's obviously
a flight to Lapland, middle class? Surely not.
So on the way back, we get a call. There's obviously a child in distress, and then the air hostess comes on the tannoy and says, "We've got a child who's in some distress here. Do we have anybody with sort of medical experience on the plane?" So I said to Liz, "Oh, I've got first aid, maybe." And then literally half the plane stood up and said they were doctors.
Yeah, sit down. We've got this covered.
I was just going to put the kid in a sling because I could do that, right? But yeah, literally so many doctors got up and went, "Oh yeah, I'm a doctor." And like, oh.
Did they start doing Dr. Top Trumps? They go, "Well, I'm a heart surgeon." Was it, "Oh, are you?" "Well, I'm a paediatric neurosurgeon."
But yeah, you've never seen a flight where there was so many qualified people on there.
Slap number 4.
Oversharers. People that tell you every fine detail about everything without you showing any interest.
I like the line of "without you showing any interest." I would see that and I would raise you, despite you showing a lack of interest.
Exactly.
Despite you stifling yawns, rolling your eyes, and people still bang on about stuff. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I can chat. Do you know what I mean? I can talk, which is a benefit when you've got your own podcast. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just people sitting listening to absolute silence on Spotify. The girl who Sarah and Dean were talking to on the plane from Newcastle.
Did you get her name, by the way?
I didn't get her name. No, she wasn't as vocal. And she was saying that she was from Northern Ireland, and she was over in Newcastle with her fella who'd gone to hospital. On a regular, he went regularly to Newcastle, and they'd said at the moment he needs more treatment, so he's going to have to stay there for a long time. So she's got to come back without him. Now, I don't mean any disrespect, and he's clearly a sick man, and I feel for her and all that kind of stuff. But she was desperate for Sarah and Dean to say, "What's up with him?" And they didn't. Because Sarah was too busy talking about her fucking self. Like I say, Sarah, if you are listening, do come on the show. We'll be nice to you when you come on the show.
We like guests.
It's all in entertainment. It's just for shits and giggles.
And also, if you're a guest on the podcast, we want you to overshare. That's the idea of having you on.
Absolutely. It's your license to overshare. This is quite cathartic, this, Baz. It's a bit like therapy.
It is.
I feel like I'm in a safe space just to rant like an old man. I like it a lot.
Slap number 5.
Anyone who chooses ready salty crisps. There are so many incredible flavors of crisp and snacks, right? My view is that anybody who goes for the blandest one is effective. I'll use an analogy here, Baz. It's a bit like going, do you know what? This room needs a bit of a makeover. I'm fed up of this beige paint. I'm going to go and get some new paint. You go to B&Q, you have a look at all the really beautiful different shades of paint, and you go, that's the one, and take home another tin of fucking beige paint. Do you know what I mean? There are so many incredible flavors. Anybody who goes ready salted for me, once the bumps felt, is a northern phrase for that one. It just, do you know what I mean? Why? Why would you do it?
The only justification I would ever say for having ready salted crisps is that you're boring.
Yes, exactly. And waiting to die. You're just counting down the days until you die if you eat ready salted crisps.
So it's like one of those things. So you go to a party and they've got all the crisps out in bowls, old-fashioned parties, obviously, but not modern ones. But and like you go through and you get them out and like you I've got some cheese and onion. I quite like cheese and onion. And then they go, oh, there's some more over here, and you get them, and they're plain. And the reason you know they're plain is because they're still full.
You grab a handful of Pringles and go and sit down, put one in your mouth and realise they're ready salted, and you have to eat them because you don't want to seem ungrateful, but you can't even put them back either, so you've got to sit there unhappy and eat your fucking ready salted Pringles.
I think the fact that most people call them plain and not ready salted is
Yes.
just a testament to them.
Baz, I think maybe to shame people who eat ready salted crisps, we need to go one step further and call them dull or lifeless crisps.
Exactly.
Or, it's like unambitious.
Well, once again, if you are listening to this and you've got any justification for eating plain crisps, don't DM me.
No, exactly. Yeah. If you're listening to this and you eat ready salted crisps, fuck off. We don't want to hear from you again. I mean, look, Baz, we're only 3 or 4 in, and I've started to get proper ranty now. And I'm barring people, right? I'll tell you what, in our virtual pub, the Brace of Readlings that we're in now, yeah, if you ask for ready salted crisps, sorry, we don't sell them.
There you go. Perfect.
No. And you're barred.
And the thing is, we don't even need to discuss everyone's favourite flavours, because as long as it's not plain, it's justifiable.
If somebody does prefer ready salted crisps to other ones, if you say, what's your favourite flavour of crisp? Potato.
It just kind of reeks of sadness, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
It does. It does. It makes me feel sorry for them.
Slap number 6.
People who take up more than their seat on a train.
Oh, now then.
You know the people that when it's getting busy, they have their bag on the seat next to them, in a two on a two bank of seats, and even though it's getting busy, they just look out the window. They're waiting for somebody to go. Oh, is that seat free? I don't do that. I'll go. Has that bag got a ticket? I've done it before, literally, and then of course you don't chat to that person at all during the journey.
There's nothing better, Baz, than when you're about to sit down next to someone for 2 to 3 hours, pissing them off before you've even sat down.
Exactly. So I don't know about you, but if I'm on a train, if there's no one on the train, I'll have my bag on the seat next to us. As soon as people start getting on, it's on the lap or it's on the floor. Just because
you're a reasonable human being. That's why, Baz. You're a reasonable human being.
Do you know what I mean? It's bad enough that often you pay for a train ticket and you have to stand anyway. So to have the reason that you can't sit is because someone's got a fucking bag on it. Fuck that person.
Yes, exactly. And their parents and their kids and the rest of their family.
And that bag.
I may have gone over I may have overstepped the aggression on that part. But, do you know what, Baz? When you first said people taking more than their seat, I thought you were going to talk about manspreading. Now I need to talk about manspreading, right? Because apparently there's a big thing that says it's a sexual thing, it's a alpha male, it's a dominance thing, and it's, do you know what I mean? And it's offensive to women and all this kind of stuff. It's just a man trying not to crush his own bollocks.
Yeah, fair dues.
That's all it is. Do you know what I mean? Don't read anything more into it. It's just a man who doesn't want to crush his own bollocks on public transport. That's all it is. Just calm down.
Oh, I need to make it clear as well. I'm not talking about people who are overweight either, because that's just unfortunate.
They should buy 2 seats though, the fat fuckers.
And in fairness, I've sat next to people that have been overweight, and have taken up a bit more than their own seat. And in fairness, you can still make it work. You end up with a sort of sweaty side when you get to eat.
You've just got to cuddle into them, haven't you, Baz? It's quite nice sometimes. On a cold day, it's lovely.
Slap number 7.
Next one for me is paedophiles.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that's.
I'm only joking, Baz.
Okay, I was going to say we don't even need to talk about that.
I thought I'd include one that is clear, because obviously the idea of this is it's petty things that we get irate from.
Well, yes.
So I thought I'd slip one in there. There was clearly one that repulses everybody in the whole world, and you've just gone, oh yes, you've agreed with me, so I've got your vote on that one. That's good.
No, imagine if I'd gone, well, I agree with you 80%.
Well, there is a grey area, Mike. These ones that are 15, Mike, they just, it's just, it's just where you draw the line. Do you know what I mean? Right. Let's move on from that one. I was on the joke.
Do a proper one.
Slap number 7.
My next one is the Irish government. Now, listen, we often say on this show we don't talk politics and we don't talk religion, just because we're not that passionate about either, and they just cause arguments. But
people have different opinions of those.
In this, it's not the Irish government in general. The reason I've nominated the Irish government is on one specific point, and that is minimum alcohol pricing, which came in at the start of this year. Okay,
explain this to me.
Basically, there is a minimum price per litre or price per unit of alcohol that they're allowed to charge. So I have a number of issues with this. One is the prices in pubs and clubs that have been overinflated for fuck knows how long are unaffected.
Oh.
It's just the cheap beer that you want to drink at home. So it's only supermarkets, off licenses that have been affected by this.
Okay.
My second thing is, who gets the extra cash? Because they haven't increased the tax on anything. They've just said there is a minimum price you have to sell alcohol for. So is it the manufacturer? Is it the retailer? But somebody is trousering all this cash, because it isn't the Irish government, because they haven't put up tax.
So let me just ask a question here, just to get my head around this. So basically, if someone was charging 45 pence for a can of lager before, that's too cheap, and it has to be 90p or £2.50. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And I'll give you some exact numbers as well, because I did a little bit of research just before we came on.
Nice.
I've just picked one at random. Okay. So Moretti, nice drop. 6 330ml cans of Moretti in Asda, in Tesco, UK, which includes Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Is £5 sterling, right? Which current exchange rate works out as €5.97, right? The exact same product in Tesco here is €9.15. It's 53% more expensive. So yeah, because I have to drive over the border to get reasonably priced alcohol, I've turned in to a person who every month or so does the shittest booze cruise ever. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I get to go on a ferry to Calais. Do you know what I mean? Have a decent meal, maybe a couple of beers on the way over there, maybe even make a weekend of it. I literally drive 20 minutes further than I would. I drive over a bridge, which happens to be an international border, to spend a different currency in a different country on the same product and drive home again. It's the worst. It's the shittest booze cruise in the history of booze cruises.
But just like you said earlier, so where does that extra €4 go?
No idea.
Yeah, who's having that?
Don't know.
So logically, what it's doing is, if you don't have to spend less money to get a cheaper brand, and you can now get the expensive brand, that means the cheaper brand are losing out on business as well, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So people
I guess the positive is that the people on lower incomes can afford decent beer now.
Well,
so they're becoming connoisseurs. They're not drinking less. They're just getting a better taste. They're just drinking better beer. That's all it's doing.
Well, imagine though, people are going, "Oh, do you know what? Fuck that! I'm still sticking with my cheap brand, even though it's expensive, because I'm loyal."
Slap number 8.
But so this one is controversial. People who drive in the middle lane of a 3-lane motorway.
There's nothing controversial about it. The only controversial thing for me, Baz, is that the death penalty isn't available to those people.
It's mad, isn't it? I've always driven as far left as I possibly can in every situation. If I'm not going, even if I'm flying at 90, if the inside lane is open, I'm in the inside lane. It's just how I drive. But it's just that thing of people go, "Oh no, it's all right because there's a lane outside of me." What they don't realise, they've literally turned a 3-lane motorway into a 2-lane motorway and therefore restricting the flow of traffic.
Baz was saying like he might be driving 90. Just to reassure you, Baz doesn't break the law or doesn't break the speed limit because he drives like a 70-year-old lady.
It's true. It's very
and
true.
I have first-hand experience of Baz driving like a 70-year-old lady, so I can confirm that true.
Well, I got stage fright when I was with you because I always figured that you're, whatever reason, I figured that you're a good driver. So when we were on our way down to Oxford that time, I just suddenly forgot how to drive. But yeah, I do drive very slowly.
Yeah. But no, people who, like, it's not difficult. Do you know what I mean? It's like driving the left lane. If you need to go past something, move out of the middle of the left lane. It's as simple as that. It could not be any more simple. Either that, because in the States, if people are listening in the States, they'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? Why is that something to moan about? Yeah. Because in the UK, you're not allowed to overtake on the inside. In the States, you can overtake on either side, which makes sense because I've got 2 fucking wing mirrors. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind looking, and I look anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When I'm pulling in, I'll look to see if anything's coming anyway. So it's no more dangerous. It was like either, I mean, I know it is, strictly speaking, you can get 3 points for sitting in the wrong lane on the motorway.
But you never do you? You never see people.
But yeah, either make it that a sniper can get you, or just allow people to legally overtake on the inside, and then it's not a bother them. People can go as slow as they want.
I've got to admit, if I'm within the speed limit and I'm in the inside lane and I get to somebody, I'll just keep going on the inside lane. I'll never go past. I'll never speed up and go past someone on the inside lane because it's a bit shitty. But I once did a thing just quickly where someone was driving so slow in the morning that I undertook them on the inside doing 60. Pulled out in front of them, they went to the outside lane, slowed down so they could undertake me, then went round them 4 times.
Wow, that's very special.
It was quite road. It wasn't like it was busy, but I went round them 4 times.
Slap number 9.
People who describe themselves as flexitarian.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I went to the dictionary to look for the definition of a flexitarian, and I was surprised that it said something other than people who eat fucking food. It actually said, and I quote, people who are usually vegetarian but occasionally eat meat.
Sorry.
That's like saying people who are usually virgins but occasionally have sex.
But surely everybody who's ever had a cheese sandwich, that covers them.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and that's it. I mean, see, and I'm going to sound very old now, but I don't care because I am. It's just the modern thing of having to put a fucking label on everything. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't eat much meat. Doesn't need to be a word for it. I don't eat as much meat as other people do. But yeah, flexitarian. I'm an occasional meat eater. It's like, I occasionally go paintballing. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like I've got to add it into a description of my personality. And it's like, it's like I said before, it was like in my early 20s, I didn't have very much sex. Occasionally I did, but I wasn't a flexi virgin. Do you know what I mean? I was just ugly. Anyway.
Slap number 10.
Craft beer wankers. Right. Not just people who drink craft beer, don't have a problem with them. People who think that a drink is not worthy unless it's come from some sub-Saharan state and someone has strained it through a vest and it's been brewed using local yeast for this amount of time. It's like, I'm quite willing to pay £5.50 for half a pint because do you know what? It's such a good, it's bitter, right? And people have been drinking it for years. It used to be cheap before idiots like you started to pay way over the odds for it, right? It's like coffee in Starbucks. It used to be 50p, now it's £3 because idiots like you will pay the price for it.
Can I just say, like, the worst city for this that I've ever been to is London, by far. Mate,
the worst city for a lot of things is London,
but particularly for craft beer.
Yes, it is, and knife crime. No, I will cut that out.
Leave it in.
Yeah, the two worst things about London: knife crime and craft beer.
No, so listen, I kind of get people that like genuinely enjoy craft beer because there's obviously taste is very subjective and people have got different tastes. And I kind of get something. Oh yeah, this is really nice. The reason I don't drink wine is it's too complex for me. I don't understand it. I don't understand all the thing about body. If it tastes like shit, I'm not going to drink it, no matter how much body it's got.
But you know what? And that's why I drink cheap wine.
Mm.
For the same reason. I like wine. I'll drink cheap wine. And do you know what? The decades and decades of wine snobs are going, oh, it's this and it's come from this vineyard and it's you can feel it takes these notes and it tastes of jam sponge and hollyhocks and all this shit. And it's just like, and it's beautiful. Oh, it's a great year. And behave. Is it nice? Does it taste nice? Does it taste nice or not? Right, good. If it tastes nice, I'll have it. Other than that, I'm not interested. But that's what craft beer has turned into. Don't get me wrong. If people like craft beer, great. Enjoy a craft beer.
Yeah.
Pay over the odds. It's up to you. All right. But don't look down on me because I'm drinking a San Miguel because San Miguel tastes good.
Yeah.
All right. Don't get me wrong. I look down on the Foster's drinkers, so fair enough. Do you know what I mean? I went into a coffee house in Manchester once, and I don't really like coffee. All right. There you go. I don't really like it. I'm certainly don't. The nuances of the different type of bean and stuff is just lost on me. So don't even try it.
Me too. Yeah.
And if I drink coffee, quite often I'll have a latte with a flavored syrup in it, right? Because I don't really like the taste of coffee.
Yeah.
I like caffeine anyway. So I went into this coffee house in Manchester. This coffee shop, and I just said I had a look, and I was looking around for a while, and it had hundreds of different kind of like this Argentinian thing and Bolivian thing and this, that, and the other. It's like, do you do flavored syrups? She went, no. And I was like, as soon as he made that noise, I wanted to fucking kick him in the face,
slap him.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, that's it, innit? There are people who want to slap. But yeah, he went, no. I was like, well, he was like, we like our customers to taste the coffee. I was like, in that case, you can fuck off. And I walked off. And he's probably telling this story about this scumbag who came in. He didn't appreciate all the years of craftsmanship that's gone into this coffee. And I was just, look, I want something that tastes of toffee and will stop me falling asleep. If you don't have it, I shall go elsewhere.
Can we just have a quick shout out though for the getting your name written on a cup?
Oh yes, I'm a big fan of that.
because I think clearly you do the same as I do. Just come up with the most ridiculous name you can imagine for them to write on there.
Yes, I've never been Mike at a Starbucks
either.
Never.
I'm more likely to be Mike than I am Baz.
I've never been Mike at a Starbucks. And do you know what? It's like I like to challenge myself to get away with the most unlike me name.
Yep.
So Pablo was quite a nice one. I quite enjoyed that one.
All right, Paul.
Yeah, Pablo was a good one. And Ahmed was another one. All of those people need a slap. And if you are listening or watching and you fall in any of those categories, what I want you to do is very simple. I want you to take a little sit down. I want you to have a think about your life choices and make some appropriate changes.
Just realise that other people in the world are there and it's not just about you.
Exactly. And they're better than you. If you want to if you want to be as good as they are, stop being a dick. I think it's a very clear message to end with there, Baz.
It's a lovely summation. You beautifully
go. I think, do you know what? I don't know if people will enjoy listening to this or watching it. I hope they do. But I've very, very much enjoyed the last hour I've spent with you, Baz.
We don't do this. We don't do this enough, do we?
Baz, it's been free therapy, and I've enjoyed it because I feel like a new man. I feel like I can go out and conquer the world now. I feel like I've got so much off my shoulders that I feel amazing. And I thank you and I thank the listeners for everything they've done for me. So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Baz, for being here again.
It's been great fun. I've loved it.
And yes, and we've got loads more like this coming up. We've got Baz and I have got a list of random shit we're going to chat about on a podcast when we don't have a guest. So thanks again for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, wherever you are listening, wherever you are watching, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. Reviews are really important. Reviews will get us out to more people. We want more people to see and hear us.
5-star reviews.
There you go. 5-star reviews. Share it with your friends. If you haven't enjoyed this, share it with the people you don't like. The important thing is just to share it. Okay.
Yeah, share it.
So thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later.